Picture a typical morning for millions of people across New York, London, or Los Angeles. The alarm shrieks, shattering your sleep. But instead of taking a deep breath to welcome the day, what is your first instinct? You reach out in the dark, fumbling for your smartphone. In less than 60 seconds, your newly awakened brain is hijacked by a flood of notifications, urgent emails from your boss, and the curated, filtered highlights of someone else's life. In that single moment, without even realizing it, you've surrendered your dopamine system to a cold, calculated algorithm. You are starting your day in a state of reaction rather than intention. You feel that familiar fog, that heavy drag in your chest, and you tell yourself, I just need one more latte and then I'll be fine. But the truth? That caffeine is just a Band-Aid on a massive biological wound. Most of us aren't struggling because we're lazy. We're struggling because we are sending the wrong signals to our own biology. We are living in an invisible prison of chronic exhaustion. However, cutting-edge neuroscience from institutions like Stanford and Harvard has revealed something profound. The first 15 minutes of your day are the architectural blueprint for the next 16 hours. They dictate whether you will show up as a focused, high-performing individual or a hollow shell chasing deadlines. Today, I'm not here to teach you how to wake up early just to work more. I'm not here to give you empty, motivational fluff. We are going to go deep into the mental architecture of your own body. I'm going to show you how to hardwire your nervous system for sustained energy and clarity. Because when you master your morning, you aren't just mastering your productivity, you are reclaiming your destiny. Welcome to the protocol for decoding your biological power. Strap in, because what you're about to hear will fundamentally change the way you perceive the very act of being alive. Step 1. The photon signal, the sunlight rule. The most powerful tool in your morning arsenal is free, and it's right outside your window. When photons from sunlight hit your melanopsin-sensing retinal ganglion cells, they send a direct electrical signal to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, the master clock of your brain. This triggers an immediate, healthy spike in cortisol to wake you up, and more importantly, sets a timer for melatonin production 16 hours later. The protocol. Get 5 to 10 minutes of direct sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. Even on a cloudy day in Seattle or London, there are enough photons to trigger this reaction. Don't look through a window. Glass filters out the blue light wavelengths you need. Step 2. Delaying the caffeine crash. Most Americans reach for coffee within 5 minutes of waking. This is a biological mistake. When you wake up, your brain is still clearing out adenosine, the chemical that builds up all day to make you feel sleepy. Caffeine doesn't kill adenosine, it just blocks the receptors. If you drink coffee too early, the adenosine stays in your system, and when the caffeine wears off at 2 p.m., you hit a massive wall. The protocol. Wait 90 to 120 minutes before your first cup. Let your natural cortisol do the heavy lifting first. Step 3. Strategic rehydration. The electrolyte secret. You've been fasting and exhaling moisture for 8 hours. Your brain is literally shrunken from dehydration. But drinking plain distilled water isn't enough. Your neurons need electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium, to fire electrical signals. The protocol. Drink 16 to 30 ounces of water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt and a squeeze of lemon. This biocharged water restores your cellular resting potential instantly. Step 4. Optical flow, the forward motion effect. There is a fascinating link between the movement of your eyes and the state of your nervous system. When you walk forward and objects pass by your sides, it creates optical flow. This has been shown to quiet the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for anxiety and fear. The protocol. A 10-minute walk, no phone, just forward movement. It down-regulates your stress before the workday begins. Step 5. Thermal shock, the dopamine spike. If you want a 250% increase in baseline dopamine that lasts for hours, you need cold exposure. A cold shower triggers the release of norepinephrine and epinephrine, shifting your metabolism into high gear. The protocol. End your warm shower with 1 to 2 minutes of pure cold. It's uncomfortable, but the mental resilience you build is a superpower in the boardroom. Step 6. Protein over pathogens, the glucose anchor. The standard American breakfast of cereal or bagels is a recipe for a mid-morning sugar crash. Spiking your insulin at 8 a.m. leads to brain fog at 10:30 a.m. The protocol. Focus on 30 grams of high-quality protein. Whether it's eggs, Greek yogurt, or a clean protein shake, protein stabilizes your blood sugar and keeps your satiety hormones in check. Step 7. The top 3 priority filter. Our brains are not designed for to-do lists with 50 items. This leads to decision fatigue. Successful people in the U.S. tech and finance sectors use a pre-filtered approach. The protocol. Identify the 3 and only 3 tasks that will move the needle today. Write them down on a physical piece of paper. Your brain thrives on this clarity. Step 8. The 5-minute gap, the alpha state. Before the chaos of the world enters your mind, you need to find the gap. This isn't about becoming a monk, it's about shifting your brain waves from high-frequency beta, stress, to alpha, relaxed alertness. The protocol. 5 minutes of box breathing or silent meditation. This creates a buffer zone between your inner world and the external demands of the day. Step 9. The 90-minute deep work slot. Your brain is at its peak cognitive capacity about 2 to 4 hours after waking. This is your golden window. Most people waste this time on low-level tasks like checking Slack or answering emails. The protocol. Dedicate the first 90 minutes of your workday to your hardest, most cognitively demanding task. Turn off all notifications. Your deep work is where your true value is created. Step 10. The identity lock, atomic consistency. Biology doesn't care about what you do once, it cares about what you repeat. To make this an identity, you have to move past the motivation phase and into the system phase. The protocol. Use habit stacking. Link your sunlight, step 1, with your walk, step 4. When these steps become a single fluid motion, you stop trying to have a good morning and simply become a person who owns the day. At this point, you might be thinking, it's just a walk. It's just some sunlight. It's just a glass of salt water. Does it really matter that much? Here is the truth that most people will never tell you. Your biology is not a static map. It is a dynamic, living feedback loop. Every single choice you make in those first 90 minutes is either a vote for your future self or a betrayal of your potential. We live in a society that profitizes your exhaustion. There are trillion-dollar industries designed to keep you addicted to the scroll, dependent on the sugar high, and trapped in a state of reactive anxiety. When you choose to step outside that system, when you choose to align with your circadian rhythm instead of fighting it, you are performing an act of biological rebellion. This isn't just about productivity or getting more done. That's the old way of thinking. This is about health span. It's about being the person who 20 years from now still has the cognitive sharpness to solve complex problems and the physical vitality to play with their grandchildren. The disconnection we feel in modern life, the burnout, the brain fog, the lack of purpose, is often just a cry for help from a nervous system that has forgotten its natural environment. When you master these protocols, something shifts in your identity. You stop being a victim of the morning and you start becoming the architect of your day. You begin to realize that your mood is not a mystery and your energy is not a fluke. They are the direct results of the inputs you provide. You are no longer borrowing energy from your future self through caffeine and stress. You are generating it, sustainably, from the inside out. This is where the science meets the soul. By taking control of the small, microscopic signals of the morning, you build the macroscopic resilience required to handle the storms of life. You don't just have a good day, you create one. Because a life well lived is nothing more than a string of mastered mornings, stacked one on top of the other until they become a legacy. Mastering your morning isn't about achieving a perfect streak. It's about a relentless commitment to the signal you send your body. But information without execution is just a distraction. To make this real, you need to lock it in right now. I want you to pick one protocol from today, just one, that you will commit to for the next 7 days. Whether it's the 90-minute caffeine delay or the 5-minute sunlight exposure, write it down in the comments below with the phrase, "Protocol accepted." When you write it down, you move it from a fleeting thought to a public commitment, and this community will hold you to it. If this deep dive into the biology of your morning gave you a new perspective, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that science-backed health belongs in everyone's feed. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start optimizing every aspect of your life, subscribe and turn on notifications. Our next deep dive is going to be even more controversial. The 3-2-1 rule for deep sleep. Because the truth is, your perfect morning actually begins the night before. Stop reacting. Start architecting. I'll see you in the next video.